Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Welcome everyone. We are going to be starting game 1 right now in the semifinals. Here in the 12 o'clock position, we have TT1 representing FnaticMSI as our blue Protoss on Metalopolis. Now in the 3 o'clock position, we have Zephyr representing Team Prime.we as our purple Zerg. We are going to be at close air positions on Metalopolis. I am Orb. With me is MrBitter. This should be a pretty exciting match for you guys.
Hey Orb, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm stoked to be here. Always love to come take part in the TL events. We have TL Open today. We have TL Attack tomorrow with Thorzane, Naniwa, and Hotbid. And dude, I'm so excited to see what these players have in store for us. And right out the gate, we've got some something noteworthy. We've got TT1 putting that pylon down in his natural. What is up with that?
Well, what's up with that is that TT1's going to opt for the Forge expansion. Now, Metalopolis, the natural's pretty close to the ramp. So you can get away with the Forge expansion as long as you just have some good building placement, also known as a Sim City. So we'll be able to set up a Forge and a gateway to be able to block himself off next to that Nexus. Now this can be a little bit of a risky move because on a map like this, if the Zerg actually goes for some type of crazy cheese like an 8-pool, sometimes they can get there before you'll be able to have a wall-off set up since the wall-off relies on the Nexus being part of it. So, but luckily for him, Zephyr is not going for any crazy build like that. It looks like it's just going to be a standard Speedling opening.
Yeah, definitely, and I do feel like if Zephyr doesn't do something to answer this fast expansion from TT1, he's going to be way behind. I love the fact that TT1 is doing this on Metalopolis. I think traditionally, Metalopolis is a map with a big wide open natural, and Protoss players for the longest time have been playing under the assumption that wide open natural means Roach Speedling all in will kill me, so I can't fast expand here. But in recent weeks, I've been seeing a lot of Protoss starting to do this fast expand on Metal, even on maps like Xel'Naga, and they've been successful with it. So I hope to see TT1, use that great building placement, uses perfect timing, and use some really good force fields to keep himself healthy into the mid game, and hopefully he can come out ahead here of Zephyr.
Yeah, now he's got to be very careful because he actually went Nexus first instead of Forge first, even versus this Speedling build. So what that means is that if Zephyr actually makes a bunch of lings and moves forward here, the cannon might actually not be done in time. So you might actually be able to get a run by into the main, get some harassment and scouting information. So TT1 does have to be very careful with his timings right now. And it looks like Zephyr is continuing to produce just a couple more Zerglings, 6 total thus far. So nothing anything out of the ordinary, but he's going to go ahead and just take out that probe before he moves forward. That is going to give TT1 actually the time to be able to get that cannon up. So Zephyr will not actually be able to break into his base at this point.
Yeah, TT1's got to be feeling, well, he doesn't know what he feels just yet, but as that cannon finishes, he's going to be feeling fantastic. His building placement absolutely perfect. It's a tight wall. The only way into his base would be through the mineral line. So TT1 should be safe here. Now, this is going to open up the mid game. Zerg should feel like he can just drone pretty much straight up till about 60-70 supply. There's not a whole lot TT1's going to be able to do to apply pressure initially, because as we can see, he's got no tech down. His first gateway is just now completing. So barring a handful of zealots, which really wouldn't get anything done against these lings, there's not anything TT1 can really do to make Zephyr stop droning.
Yeah, and in this situation, a lot of Zergs, when they see a player Forge expanding, because you can't be aggressive, as you were saying, from the Protoss standpoint, you can just take a quick third. That's what a lot of Zergs like to do. They just really quickly expand. And I really like what TT1's doing with this. He set up his second pylon immediately behind the mineral line, so he can start using that Cyrenics core to improve his wall off. A lot of Zergs will go for counterattacks later in the game, even if they don't go for a run by early on.
Oh, man.
So improving that is great.
TT1 playing so smart, putting down 2 cannons, but Zephyr is going to try a run by. Here come the lings. Can TT1 pull the probes? He does pull probes. Perfect block. Oh, excellent play there. Zephyr
no,
does
they do get through.
Squeeze a few lings through. Wow, that's definitely enough to be a problem. I thought TT1 had held there. But that's what, 7 Zerglings? That's going to be enough to be pretty annoying. TT1's going to have to be very diligent with these probes. He's already lost 2, of course 1 being the scout, so he's really only lost 1 probe in his base. If this cannon can finish, he will be safe, and TT1 doing a very nice job of just microing around. Meanwhile, Zephyr is droning up. Oh no, a couple more probes are going to go down there. 5 probes in total having been lost here. I do not know if that's going to be enough to really equalize things, though, because as we see, TT1 has a nice, healthy probe lead. He's got a 6 probe lead over Zephyr right now. And while those Lings did get into the base and did do a little bit of damage, I have a hard time feeling like it's enough to justify that big investment in Zerglings.
Yeah, and he also lost, of course, that Overlord that was right in the center of TT1's base there. A little bit of a misstep, leaving that right over the cannon. And we still haven't seen Zephyr go up to a 3rd, so it looks like he's just rushing Lair. Already has double gas at the natural as well. He's getting that Spire up, so he is just going to be rushing up to Mutatech off the 2 base here, and perhaps just use those Mutas to contain and harass TT1 until he's able to get a 3rd up, and possibly even a 4th up and running. But look at those 2 Zerglings in TT1's base, still diligently just running around in circles, and he's getting a great amount of scouting information. He's going to be able to see those 5 additional gateways going up for TT1, so he's going to know that the 6th gate is on the way here.
Yeah, and I don't like his choice to go Spire Tech. The reason that, let's think back, 6 months ago, maybe even longer than that. Muta was OP in ZVP, everybody was saying. But then Protoss discovered 6th gate, and all of a sudden people stopped going Muta because 6th gate just crushes it because it's such a strong timing. And here we have Zephyr going Muta in the face of a 6th gate, so I really question that decision. I feel like if TT1 executes this correctly, he can just win the game right here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That being said, Zephyr has actually gone ahead and added 5 Spine Crawlers at his natural and is continuing to add more. So, gateway pressure, and TT1 sees all this with that probe, actually, which he manages to sneak into the base. But gateway pressure, one of the really, big weaknesses to it is that it's just not good versus Spine Crawlers. But look at that, he's just dropping multiple pylons in the main of Zephyr. I love this play. He was able to sneak that pylon, or that probe in. So instead just drops the pylons in the main. He won't be able to kill off all the pylons before, at least one is complete. And TT1 will be able to start warping in units up in the upper ground past all those Spine Crawlers. Zephyr's in a lot of trouble.
TT1, why are you so smart? I love
Serious.
that. You're exactly right. Running the probe in, dropping multiple pylons. There's no chance of them getting shut down. Zephyr doing everything he can to reposition these Spine Crawlers so that he can maybe hold against this, but TT1 is just applying so much pressure. I do not know if Zephyr can defend this aggression.
It looks like he did get some spines moved into position to be able to defend this, and there are Mutas now out, so Pure Zealot not going to work anymore for TT1. He's going to start transitioning into some Stalkers, but it looks like with those Spine Crawlers in position that Zephyr will be able to defend this bush.
Wow, really impressive by Zephyr. I honestly thought he was dead. I thought the 6th gate timing was just going to kill him, but as you said, gateway units not so good against mass Spine Crawler, and Zephyr, has no shortage of spines. But you know what? TT1 still has a huge lead. He never stopped producing probes. He's up to 57 probes now, and he's transitioning into double Stargate. He's got the 6 gateway, so he can make a ton of Stalkers. It's going to be extremely difficult for these Mutas to do damage, and he's still got that great wall at his front, so I don't see Lings running in and doing damage either.
Yeah, that probe advantage is so important that you're talking about. That's really the only thing that kept him in this game right now. When you're that far behind, from going from a 6 gate and delaying your tech, and the Zerg completely defends it without taking much damage at all, you can end up being really far behind. But he does have that probe lead. He's added on double Stargate, so he's just going to produce tons and tons of Phoenixes right now. And of course, Phoenixes are very cost effective versus Mutas. So this is a pretty good move, and it's actually going to make it very difficult for Zephyr to keep TT1 contained. Now, those Mutas have seen the double Stargate, so it's possible he'll start producing some Corruptors now, since he knows, a lot of Phoenixes are on the way. But I got to worry for Zephyr right now, because he's taking 2 additional bases right now, which is pretty standard for Mutas. But if you know your opponent's going for double Stargate, they'll be able to push out relatively soon, since those Phoenixes will be able to prevent any type of containment by Muta.
Yeah, Zephyr has to expand. He has to get his economy kind of on par with TT1's, but it's not going to be easy for him to do because TT1 has just maintained his economy so well. At no point in this game was TT1 ever even remotely behind. He went for the early fast expand. Zephyr did not punish it, and from there, TT1's never looked back. He has kind of backed off on probe production. He's sitting right just south of 60 probes right now. And that tells me that he just wants to spend 100% of his resources on making a huge army. And when that army leaves, I'm really, frankly, just worried for Zephyr. I don't think Zephyr's going to be able to deal with. Well, at the same time, he's doing a great job of keeping his supply lead. So
yeah, he's got 5 Corruptors in that army, so that will be able to deal with these Phoenixes pretty darn easily. Phoenixes are not cost effective at all versus Corruptors. And he is at pretty much full saturation at both of his bases. So I take that to mean that he's just going to not even try to expand soon. He's going to try to go for a push off of 2 bases, or attack, rather. But, now that he sees that these Phoenixes are going to be denied by the Corruptors, they did a couple drones there, but that's really about it. he's going to realize that he won't just be able to push out and win, so maybe he's going to actually try to take a third one out. Interesting that he is going pure, pretty much Zealot Phoenix. Now, I've seen a couple Koreans do this.
I think we're going to see a transition into Zealot Archon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he already has the Temple Archives up and running, and he's not getting Storm. So yeah, he's just going to be making these into Archons. Tons and tons of Speed Seals and Archon. Does he actually have charge yet? I'm trying to find it.
No charge
no, he
yet.
Does not.
And he's not... I mean, he's got the gas to start it. Surely he's not forgetting. I like this transition. Speedlot Archon just absolutely murders Zergling-based armies, and Mutiling is obviously very Zergling-based. Zephyr is showing no inclination towards a transition of his own. He's just continuing to dump all of his gas into Mutas, and in the meantime, he's using those excess minerals to kind of catch up. He's finally created a drone lead for himself. He does have these 4 bases more or less secured. A little bit of Phoenix Crest happening in the main here, but big counter up into the 3rd base of TT1. TT1 really needs to save this. He does not want to go down 2 bases against 4.
Yeah, this is a really critical moment right now. He's taking out all the cannons, but it looks like he's going to be forced to fall back now that the army of TT1 is in position. So it might have been a good idea to try to just snipe that Nexus there, but didn't want to take too many losses to those cannons. So it's a pretty tough decision to make in that position. But TT1 is a little bit in a little bit of trouble right now because he wants to push out, but he really can't until that 3rd is up and running. Because he can't afford to deal with that type of a counter. As you said, he can't be 2 base versus 4 base. He'll just lose. So he is forced to just kind of sit back here and be a little bit idle with his army until he gets those cannons up at that 3rd.
Yeah, the thing that I do like for TT1 is that he's maintaining a supply count with the Zerg player. I think traditionally Zerg wants to be 30 supply ahead if they're going to engage a Protoss army. At equal supplies, it's very, very rare that a Zerg army can kill a Protoss army. So it's to TT1's credit. He's doing a great job of kind of keeping things even. Now, Zephyr is going to need to transition into something. I see his Baneling Nest going down and an Infestation Pit as well. Banelings are going to be really, really strong against these Zealots, but they're not going to do anything against these Archons. So I almost question whether or not this is the right move.
Yeah, and I think transitioning to something like Roaches would be a great idea right now. A lot of people have been complaining about the Zealot Archon build, PvZ, because it kind of auto kills, like auto wins versus the fast infestor build that a lot of Zergs have been doing nowadays. But if you go just mass Roach, it can beat it pretty easily. That being said, here comes the attack from TT1. He's moving forwards towards the front. A lot of Zerglings and Banelings in production for Zephyr, but he's kind of has a bit of a bad rally there. Does have a lot of his units getting stuck or running into them. But of course, counterattack in the main. He's able to take out all the probes with those mutas. He is going to be forced to fall back to defend though, but these Zealots are taking out these spawn crawlers like it's no problem whatsoever, even without charge.
Man, the Banelings, so many of them detonated on Archons, and Zephyr just not able to answer this army of TT1 in the natural. The natural is going to fall of Zephyr, and with it, TT1's going to have access to the main, and that's where all the Zerg tech is. Those mutas cannot engage the Archons. He might want to try and magic box here, but I just don't think he's got enough stuff. I feel like TT1's about to knock down Zephyr.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Zephyr has got to pull something out of his hat of magic tricks to make this work. He's so far behind right now. Grandy took out some of those probes in the main, but that's just not going to be enough. He is going to lose a lot of his tech right now. It looks like he's going to lose the main. He's just going to go for the counter right now. Not going to try to defend, but it looks like with the cannons and units in position for TT1 that's not really going to be that much of an option.
Oh yeah, that counter does not have a chance. He'll pick off some probes. He'll pick off some cannons. He might even kill the Nexus in the main. But he's losing all of his tech. He'll lose his Spire. He'll lose his spawning pool. He won't be able to make units, and that's going to be when you can't build units against 150 supply Protoss army. That's trouble.
Yeah, and unfortunately he didn't even start a lair at one of those hatcheries, so not even be able to get any higher tech at all rebuilt for quite some time here. Now the main is being taken out, as you said, but it's not that big of a deal for TT1. He still has a huge probe lead. Even after losing all those probes, it's 57 probes to 30 drones right now. So now that the entire main has been taken out by TT1, he is just going to move forward towards the 3rd, and there's the GG from Zephyr.
All right, well won, GG, TT1, Foreigner Power fighting. I'm so excited to see him take that game orb. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, me too.
What is it that Artosis says? He's got nerd chills and he's getting wiggly and jiggly. I would love to see TT1 in the finals.
Oh, so much so. It would, yeah, that would just be like a dream come true. See in the finals.
Yes, sir. But before that, we've got to take it to commercial. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Game 2 of TT1 versus ZephyrPrime.